Today I'm going to talk about the Adidas SolarBoost. .33 miles, 8 minutes, 50 seconds per mile today. Enjoying an absolutely beautiful sunrise in the Adidas SolarBoost. Taking these along with me for my recovery run for today. Just coming back from the Ragnar relay up in Wyoming that I just experienced and was absolutely amazed by, but also completely wrecked my leg. So definitely happy to get a recovery run in and some good recovery shoes. Before I get to my detailed thoughts about this shoe, however, I do want to go over some disclosures. This is a pair of shoes that was sent to me by Roadrunner Sports. However, they are not paying me to make this video. They're not paying me to wear the shoe. No money's exchanging hands. And no one's going to get a chance to preview any of my footage or my thoughts before you guys get to see and hear them here on YouTube. Now with that out of the way, let's talk about the Adidas SolarBoost. Now the SolarBoost is a shoe that's new to me. I know there's been other like similar sounding shoes like Solar Glide or other shoes that are kind of in this family and kind of fit in this spot in the Adidas lineup. And the place where I think this shoe kind of fits in is kind of in the daily trainer category of shoe, but there are certain things about it that make me push it a little bit more towards either recovery runs, long slow distance, or for those of you who are looking for a little bit more structure and support in your neutral running shoe, but don't really want to go all the way to a stability shoe. Now, I recently ran in the Adidas Boston 8, and I enjoyed that shoe a lot. I thought that it would make for a great kind of faster day shoe, longer tempo day shoe, or a longer interval shoe, like if you're doing half mile repeats or mile repeats. That's where I kind of really like that shoe. This one seems more like the daily trainer to me, where you can run with it more of a variety of paces, more of a variety of distances, but maybe not for stuff that's going to be super, super fast. And that's because there's a lot of stuff kind of going on in the shoe. The main thing that jumps out to me is there is a lot more boost in this shoe than I saw in either the Adios 4 or the Boston 8 that I ran in earlier this year. But there's also a lot of, I think this is all EVA. And so here there seem to be these kind of guide rails where instead of like a stability shoe where they change the densities of the foam or actually put stuff into the midsole to help you from overpronating or oversupinating, these kind of stay there so that your foot doesn't slide around inside the shoe too much or tend to lean over to one side or the other. And I think that's the purpose of these. And what that ultimately ended up doing was kind of deadened the effect of the boost for me. And so very similar to what I was experiencing in the Boston 8, I felt like there was a lot of boost in here and I was really excited because boost is life, but it was like deadened a little bit. So I had a hard time really connecting with that boost sensation because I think there's a lot of stuff in this shoe, which is where I would call it a daily trainer, but push it a little bit on the longer run recovery run side of things, because I think all these things working together, the guide rails that you have here, this really big plastic counter, heel counter, and the kind of the torsion bars that they have here, which seem to be a little bit bigger than I think what was in the Boston 8. I'm not exactly sure, but I think it is that it's a shoe that really wants to help you when you're getting tired and or sloppy. And so if your foot tends to lean towards one side or roll a little bit or slide around a little bit as you get tired, as those miles start to add up, this shoe is going to help you. And I ultimately got the sense that this shoe is very much a platform that you're running in. For road running shoes, for me, I like to have a lot more flexibility so that way my foot can kind of do what it wants to do a little bit more naturally. And there's a lot of running shoes that I ran in this year where they want to take a lot of that away and guide your foot a little bit more. And that's what I was getting a sense of in this shoe. It wasn't to the point where I felt like the shoe was fighting me or making me do something my foot didn't want to do, but I did get very much a sense that this shoe had an idea of what it wanted my foot to do. And so you kind of had to just kind of go with it. It was noticeable for me, but not distracting, not disorienting, and not painful or uncomfortable anyway. But the overall sensation was it was a boost shoe that I couldn't really feel the boost in. And so I wanted that a little bit more boost forward. I mean, if you're running in an Adidas running shoe, you want boost. I wanted that boost feeling. It was there, but I just wanted a little bit more of it. The other thing about this shoe on the upper is that it's extremely padded, and kind of that exaggerated features kind of approach to the shoe extends up here in the upper material as well. This mesh that's up here, it's actually really soft and stretchy and very breathable, but it's covered with all this stitching. And while I love the aesthetic of the stitching and I see what it does, it provides more structure and shape to the upper, so that way this stretchy material doesn't become too stretchy, again avoiding the possibility that your foot's going to just slide around in here. But it ends up feeling like the material starts to get really thick where all the extra stitching is. I do love the look of it, where like the 3 stripes, in contrast to the Boston 8 or the Adizero Adios 4, where like the 3 stripes are, it's like 3 stripes in your face. This is like they're almost hidden. It's almost like just a generic black shoe, which I'm just loving that idea. But the material just feels like there's a lot of it, especially once you get towards the heel. So not only is there a lot of padding back here, but on the kind of like the sides of the ankle, right where below where your ankle bone would be, like I feel that there's a lot of heavy padding in there. This oversized heel tab also very padded, which if you have Achilles issues, I think you'd actually really appreciate that. What I do think is nice is in this space in between the two kind of, I'm guessing these are TPU heel cup plates it's very flexible back here. So that's really nice. It is feel a little bit padded. It's just this material that's a little bit softer and a little bit stretchy. The last thing that I'll mention about this shoe is the tongue. It is one of the more padded tongues that I've felt in a long time, but it's a weird length. And so what I felt like was it either needed to be shorter or longer, but it was at a weird size. And so it ended up sitting with this material right over the front of my socks, which admittedly are low cut socks, but I was worried that this would start to chafe the front of my foot. It didn't. When I first put it on my feet, it did feel a little bit uncomfortable and took a little bit of getting used to. If you're very sensitive up there, you might need a taller sock. It's just something that I would kind of keep an eye on, and I will keep an eye on as I put more miles in this shoe. But overall, everything is just super padded, and so it's not like the fastest shoe because of everything and all the features that it has going on here. But I certainly think that you can use it as a daily trainer. I would probably reach for it more on days where I'm feeling a little bit more tired, or days where I want to push the distance a little bit further. Like if you're building up in your marathon training plan and like this is the week where, all right, now I'm going to get to that some distances that I've never been to before, this might be a good shoe to take along, although it's a little bit heavy. By the end of your run, some of these other features that are intended to help you, I think, will help you feel better like the next day, where your ankles might not hurt so much or your feet might not hurt so much. Overall, I really like this one. I thought it was going to be super hot. I didn't wear it on a super hot day, but I didn't feel instantly when I put my foot in there like it was suffocating or being stifled a little bit. So I think it'll be all right. It's still not going to be the coolest shoe you ever run in because of all this padding, because of all the stitching and extra material. But it's better than I thought it was going to be. The other thing that I would think about using this shoe for is, and this is something that a lot of you guys have been asking me questions about lately, is this a good shoe for running and gym and other kind of like a good all-around shoe? And because of these rails on the side, I do think that would make for a good kind of gym shoe, where if you're doing a little bit of weight training or you're doing some stuff with a little bit more lateral movement, this is going to be really good for you to help kind of keep your foot in place and keep you from sliding around too much. So those are my thoughts on the Adidas SolarBoost. Before I go, I do want to remind you guys about our charity runner for the week. It's Scott Boatwright. He's going to be running the Chicago Marathon and raising money for Rising New York Roadrunners, which is a free youth program designed to expose children to sports. Expose children always sounds weird. It's designed to introduce children to healthy habits that they can bring forward to a lifetime of fitness. So that's all I have for today. Thanks so much for making it to the end of the video, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.
Yo, what's going on?